And as you mentioned, Ms. Hamer was very adamant about that. Bring your chair to the table. I just read an excerpt of an open letter that you wrote, you and an additional 100 pastors and bishops and clergy from across Georgia. You can find it on rollingout.com right now. It is an open letter for the United in Faith for Reverend Raphael Warnock. What was the intent and purpose of writing that letter?
Is Reverend Warnock, the esteemed pastor of the historic Ebenezer, is poised and positioned to clinch the nomination and be the U.S. Senator from Georgia. And there's so many people who are on the ballot that he is on the second page because his last name is Warnock. But the key is, in order for him to claim victory, he has to have more than 50% of the vote. And with some 18 people running, it divides the numbers. And so we were asking those who really want to see progress to make the sacrifice to relinquish their name from the ballot so that Reverend Warnock would triumphantly make it in. Okay.
Based upon that letter, you drafted that letter late last week. We published it on our website.
Thank you.
Have you seen the needle move any based upon that letter from your constituents, your friends, and other clergy members? Is it making a move in our community the way it should?
Well, the good news is he is soaring in the polls as a political outsider, having never been elected to office and being now in the second highest position in the land after president is senator. Former Senator Lloyd Benson from Texas once said, every senator dreams of being president. And so I think Reverend Warnock's dream is to make the president responsible for poor and oppressed people. Yes. And he is really amplifying his prophetic witness from behind the pulpit to now to Capitol Hill.
Exactly. What do you say to those individuals and voters out there that say, well, Reverend Warnock has no political experience? What do you say to help to negate that thought and theory in their mind to make him a great leader to take this seat in Washington, D.C.?
I would say in this instance, ignorance is bliss. Is that he, in the words of that Georgia stalwart and pillar, Hosea Williams, he's unbought and unbossed. And you need somebody who can fight the way that Donald Trump fights in an unconventional method, but this time for the sake of good, for those who are marginalized and ostracized. And so I think he comes with clean hands and a pure heart, and his only allegiance, therefore, is to the good people of Georgia.
I totally agree with you. I think that's what sets him apart because of he showed his character and integrity in the pulpit as a great leader. But now he's able to go and put on a different cloth to go sit in Washington to be able to hopefully make some changes in his state of Georgia.
No, I think that he's going to do it. It is, as they said in the Kennedy era, it's springtime in Camelot. The whole nation is yearning to breathe free, looking for some semblance of decency and evidence that there is still a democracy. Over the last 4 years, we have seen unveiled dictatorship. And I think that there is a collective sigh that a change has to happen. And it's evidenced by the early voting numbers, that we have eclipsed the numbers of when President Obama ran the first time. Some 92,000 came on the first day of early voting. This time, 157,000. And so I'm excited about the possibility.
Yes, so great turnout. And I have to say that we've had great weather, especially here in Georgia. So there's nothing that could have impede anyone from making a trek to the poll. I actually had gotten my absentee ballot, but I took it back in and I've already made my vote. So I'm already good. Prayerfully that we can encourage our brothers and sisters to go out there and make a vote. What do you say for our brothers? When we look at the numbers, men are typically the ones who don't go to the poll. What are you saying to our brothers from the pulpit as well as in the community as you walk around to try to encourage them to how important that vote is, especially from a Black man?
Yeah. Since 2008, consistently, the strongest voting bloc in America is Black women. They go faithfully, they go consistently, and people have coupled Black people for saving the Democratic Party. That's not true. It's been Black women. Black women single-handedly put Barack Obama in office. And I think it was Benjamin Mays, former president of Morehouse, who said those who can't lead need to learn how to follow. And so what I'm telling our brothers to do, follow the sisters, your wife, your mother, your girlfriend, your daughter in some instances, because brothers, we're losing it. When you see the number of men who said that they are either undecided or supporting Trump, it is absolutely shivering to know that 50 Cent hails from Queens, New York, and is a byproduct of the abject poverty that exists there. But because of his tax bracket, he'll look for his 1% and forget about the 99.
Exactly. Joining us is my co-host Kevin Hooks. Kevin Hooks is part of the team. Introduce yourself, Kevin. Tell them a little bit about yourself so we can get everybody up to speed.
Dr. Jamal Bryant, it's a pleasure
Yes,
having
sir.
you on the show, brother.
It's an honor to be here.
I am the Chief Community Officer at Acorns, a fintech company, and we help people,
Nice.
save and invest using small amounts. We really target sort of the same consumers. And in a past life, you and I and a friend of mine named Nico Perkins used to share dressing things together. So it's a pleasure seeing you again,
Yes,
brother.
sir. Good to see you on this life.
Yes, sir.
That's great.
So, and I actually voted today, Tigler. So, I'm a proud
Outstanding. So
member.
that's two Black men who've already voted. I know Munson has voted
No, I'm
too.
3. I went to State Farm Arena last week.
Yep.
Outstanding. So
At a
we got to
47
make sure.
million or
I'm
so
voting
people.
as a Georgian.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we have to continue to encourage. I mean, it's one thing I've been telling people. It's one thing to register to get new registrations of people to register to vote, but think of the millions of people. Because when you look at the numbers by state, where people, how Clinton did not win based upon small numbers in most states because only a couple of thousand people didn't vote. That made a difference. Georgia was one of those states that I would forget the number. I want to say it was a very low margin. If 3,000 or 4,000 more people would have voted, Georgia would at least won the state of Georgia with Clinton. So it's imperative that we start educating and telling our people to go out and vote, especially this time.
I have been saying to young adults, millennials across the country, that the fact of the matter is, to your point, Donald Trump did not get elected for all the people that voted for him. He got elected by all the people that didn't vote at all. And so apathy was the winner in 2016. So we've got to become engaged and involved. And the trumpet I have been blowing is that we have dealt with so much crisis in COVID-19 that we have not had a Selah moment to breathe, pause, and reflect. But to know in COVID that we lost Rem Lowry, lost C.T. Vivian, lost John Lewis. So those of us who are yet alive, realizing the words of Muhammad Ali, service is the rent we pay to be in this earth. And so we've got a responsibility.
Yes, sir. Kevin?
Yeah, so like I said, I really appreciate this opportunity. And one of the things that continues to, I continue to be confronted by is this idea that we have got probably the largest registration that we've had in generations. The challenge is getting people to go past the hurdles that have been put in our place to actually have them pull that lever. And so any thoughts about how we can motivate people, drive people to go from registrant to actual voters?
Yeah, I say all the time, anything that's easy to get is not worth having. Whatever it is that you have of significance, You had to go through a sacrifice or ordeal, or you don't treasure it. You don't value it. And that's not just politics. That's in life. And let me go a step further. That's in relationships. When you think about with those before us had to do the mundane things like memorize the Constitution, be able to project how many bubbles was in a bar of soap, had to pay a poll tax. And the worst that you got to do is stand in line. But the flip side of that is I'm seeing people in line at Phipps to go in the Gucci store.
Right.
I see people in line at Cheesecake Factory at Lennox, let alone the Negro shouldn't be there at all.
Okay.
But they're in line. So we don't mind waiting for what it is that we want. So we just got to redirect that energy.
You remember when, right when COVID lifted, Nike released a new pair of Jordans, and that was in June. People stood in line at the peak of COVID for some tennis shoes.
But the good news for us, Kevin, is that we're in Georgia. So imagine the sound of our complaint that we have to stand outside in 75-degree weather. No coats are required, no scarf, no gloves. It's a nice spring day. I've been telling everybody, just bring a charger for your iPhone and make sure you use the bathroom before you go. But it's going to be a wait, but it's worth it. We spend so much time doing so much other stuff. And the reality, gentlemen, we were trapped inside for 6 months.
Right.
So if you're able to be outside for 40 minutes, is worth it. How long did it take you gentlemen to get in and out to vote?
I went to South DeKalb Mall. It took me all but 25 minutes.
Yeah, I was 11.
And I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada. It took me 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we, in the very beginning, we had some laws, which actually leads me to my next point. My father, when I was young, used to always tell me that he didn't matter who was in the White House because we was poor, and we was going to be poor whether they was Republican or Democrat. So he didn't believe his vote counted. What do we say to people who constantly keep saying that same thing? My vote doesn't matter, so why should I waste my time?
It doesn't matter when you're not voting with a purpose. One of the mistakes that we have made is that we have not championed policies. We have just gathered around personalities. Do we like them? Are they charismatic? Do they give good speeches? But Frederick Douglass said, power concedes nothing without a demand. Exactly. I was on an interview like this yesterday with John Ossoff, who was running for U.S. Senate here in Georgia against Mr. Perdue. Yeah. And he talked about how his first job and main influence was John Lewis. And I said, that's great, that's fine. But I need you, if you're going to Senate, to not just take John Lewis, but the spirit of Maynard Jackson. And the spirit of Maynard Jackson suggests nothing will be built unless Black people are at the table. There's got to be a certain level of equitable dollars that there shows skin in the game, and not just at entry-level janitorial positions, but give us access to the elevator to make upward advancement. The evangelicals are clear, not about the personality, but on the policy. They say that Donald Trump is rude, that he's undiplomatic, that he's crass, he's abrasive, he's offensive, but for them, he's against same-sex marriage and he's against abortion. They don't care about anything else. That's right. The reality is we don't have an agenda. And where Ice Cube got caught with a stray bullet is that he was trying to push an agenda to people who are looking for personality. And so he was very clear. I don't care who I get the deal from, whether it's from Joe Biden or from Donald Trump, who has a Black plan. Right. And the Democrats wouldn't sit with him. And I think that's what was misunderstood and lost to so many who wanted to cancel him in the culture, is that he was not pledging allegiance to Republicans or to Donald Trump, but was really renewing his covenant to the Black community.
Very well said, and that is very true. And I tried to explain it to people also. from our past president Obama. People complain about President Obama, but the one thing that we can all say that we as people collectively, we didn't ask for anything. We had no agenda.
Let me go a step further.
Yes.
And he didn't promise us anything.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he remixed Jesse Jackson's "Keep Hope Alive."
Yes.
And so we went on that whole hope thing of the appearance of progress.
Yes. Exactly.
Without the substance of it. And so there was no great hiccup of new Black millionaires that were created. Our HBCUs were not further fortified. Home ownership did not go up. He made strides in many ways, but we can't measure it against anything when there is no standard. There's got to be an ask, a demand, and a request so that we know what we're negotiating.
Yes, sir. That's absolutely correct. I want to play a video that the Civil Rights Museum curated called Imagine. And it's all about the vote. Very good video that I think that it speaks to everything that we've been talking about so far. So hold tight and we'll get it queued up right quick.
Imagine walking into your registrar's office and asking for the right to vote, and then having to answer questions such as how many bubbles are in a bar of soap, how many seeds are in a watermelon. The Reverend Hosea Williams said it best: if you can't vote, you're a slave. We lost one of the greatest freedom fighters for voting rights in the U.S. Congressman John Lewis. The best way that we can honor John Lewis is to exercise our right to vote. Many more before him gave the ultimate sacrifice. Men and women such as James Chaney, Michael Schwerner, Viola Liuzzo, Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer, and others. 55 years later, their sacrifice and their honor still rings true today. It showcased to America that the right to vote was still an issue. Of all the previous elections that we've had in our country before, none are more important than today.
However difficult the moment, however frustrating the hour, it will not be long, because truth busters will rise again. How long? Not long, because no lie can live forever.
We have to vote like our life depends on it, because it does. Imagine an America where one person, one vote is truly a reality.
Powerful.
Yes.
Yes. It's inspiring and sobering at the same time.
It is.
To see how far we've come and how far we have to go. So we're not counting bubbles in a soap or seeds in a watermelon, but we are having mailboxes missing. We are seeing polling station closed. We are seeing mail sorting machines taken back to headquarters with no explanation. We're hearing for the very first time from a sitting president that your absentee ballot is not safe and can be compromised. So this is Charles Dickens' The Best of Times and the Worst of Times.
The Tales of Two Cities.
That's right.
It honestly reminds me of Fannie Lou, getting arrested for riding the wrong color bus to go and vote. Like things like that we thought were, lost, in history, are
right.
being confronted with exactly today in very same manner. People putting up fake boxes to drop your ballots off in, and those are going to be destroyed or come up missing. We lost the last election in Michigan by 15,000 votes, and that would have changed the outcome of the election. 7% of African-American votes were disenfranchised in the last election. That would have changed the outcome of the election. So all of this stuff, we thought we were past that. We're not. It seems like the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes, they do. I want to shift a little bit, Dr. Bryant. COVID has impacted us a lot, and I know it has impacted the church. What are some of the things that you've been doing or telling your congregation how to cope and deal with this COVID in such a horrific time, unprecedented time?
Yeah, I think that this setback is a setup to stand up. This is going to be the greatest season for innovators to think outside of the box, to do things in an unconventional way, to really catch up with the innovative times of technology. So can you imagine that we're now figuring out how to work from home, that we are forced to do time management, where people don't even realize that what COVID has done from an upside, it has put us in a place that you gotta have quality time with your kids. John Thompson, late coach of Georgetown, said, don't confuse activity with achievement, because a lot of people who are doing a lot of stuff aren't really accomplishing very much. And I think that that's the hour that we're in, that you're minding the reality that Neiman Marcus announced yesterday that they're closing all of their stores, going virtual. So that means minority online stores now get to compete with Neiman Marcus. With AMC theaters getting ready to close, independent films are now going to have access where they couldn't get in before. Churches are growing exponentially because church people no longer have to worry about, do I have something to wear? Am I going to be self-conscious because I got piercings and tattoos and different dyed hair? All of that is lost. And we're finding the heartbeat of what matters. You have to create social distancing. Make sure that you're not close to people who are toxic, who are carrying negativity, not necessarily COVID, but people who really don't believe in your dream or you. Look at everything the CDC is telling you is what you need to survive. Watch your mouth. And so you can't even go out without your mouth being covered because your words are so valuable. The power of life and death is in the tongue. Wash your hands. The Bible says you got to have clean hands and a pure heart. So all of those things are really working to our good when you think about it.
Well said. Very well said. You touched on it a little bit. How has technology increased with your church or across the board with all Black churches because of this COVID? Because it's forced people to be online, but so how has technology become an asset for the church as a whole, Leslie?
According to the New York Times, a third of Black churches will not survive COVID, quite frankly, because they are not technologically savvy. So churches like mine are doing well because we have access to technology and cameras and things on that nature. But when you realize that the average church in America has under 50 members, so they don't have push pay and Givelify. You still got saints mailing stuff to the church. The mailbox is gone.
Right.
There is no mail sorting. So in the words of Ronald Reagan, it's trickle down economics. So it's impacting in every way. And so the church now has got to reimagine its space and its function because just singing and preaching and turn to your neighbor is insufficient. What are you doing to really galvanize and to equip your local community?
Speaking of that, you have equipped your community throughout this entire COVID. You did two phenomenal things. You started COVID testing.
Yes.
And you created a community food bank.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about both of them and how well they have been sustaining up to this day.
I am embarrassed at our success. I don't even know how to celebrate that I have to feed 8,000 people a week. Tomorrow at our church, 8,000 people will be the recipient of groceries. So are we doing a good job of doing it? Yes. I just hate that we have to do it. And it speaks to the food insecurity in our community. It speaks to the food deserts. And one of the things that we did is I wanted to be a model So we have started a garden in our church where we're doing everything from okra to turnip greens, everything that's necessary for a Negro family reunion. We got it. Minus ham hocks. We got it all. And so I'm grateful that we're able to do the work. I just shudder the fact that the work is necessary.
You know,
Are you still doing testing?
We do testing, but it has fallen off, the attendance of it. We were averaging 2,000 at every time, but the longer it gets, Black people think they got a superhuman gene that makes them invincible to it because it really hadn't hit home. Today, the World Health Organization postures that by February, 500,000 people will die of COVID. And so we're really going to have to ramp up our protective measures and to really underscore why it's necessary that we follow the protocol and guidelines.
And I want to touch on that. The WHO, when they announced that, the other thing they added to that was, if we are diligent about wearing masks, we can reduce that number by 100,000 people. And 100,000 people is so many people. And couple that with the fact that Americans have lost savings at a rate never before seen. So we've exhausted all of our savings. So my question is, how do we recommit people to the importance of savings? How do we help people generate a new source of income and innovate through, post-crisis? Because one thing I know about Black people is when times are hard, it's just when we're at our brightest. It's when we innovate the most. And if we can send that message and remind people of that's who we are, I think coming out of the pandemic, we're positioned to be great.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen who are listening, please know that was not a question. That was Kevin making a statement. I got nothing to add to that. I mean, it's so necessary when the reality is 24 million people are unemployed. 11 million of them make less than $29,000 a year. That 11 million, Kevin, pay more in taxes than the president.
Sad but true.
As a pastor, I'm going to echo your sentiments backwards to say to Black people, GoFundMe is not life insurance. The average Black person does not have $4,000 in savings. And what they don't realize, and Kevin, I'm preaching to the choir, to the tenor section, the bank don't even recognize you if all you do is checking.
Right.
Because you ain't even there long enough for them to do nothing with it. You accumulate no interest, and a river runs through it. So you got to do some reevaluation. You're doing all this online shopping, and you got nowhere to wear these clothes to.
Right.
You got to do something different. Absolutely.
Imagine us 10 years ago being on a broadcast like this in a hoodie, in a t-shirt. We was always custom knotted. Times have changed. And so the idea of spending $5,000 on a custom
you can't give me a suit right now.
Right.
You can't give me a suit. I don't want one.
Right.
No, sir.
There's no need for it.
Right. I mean,
no.
At this point, I've been on today alone on a global international news channel. I've been on a national channel. We're doing our program, all like this. This is what accepted. So the cost of entry is different now. And that's really something that we should talk about. Is a cost of entry into this opportunity zones that are all over because we've convinced everybody that this is a new world order.
Yes, it is. Dr. Bryant, we want to thank you very much for taking the time.
I'm grateful.
For being a leader in our community, being a son of God, to bring the word unadulterated. And thank you for allowing God to speak to you to write the open letter. You and the other 100 men and women of the cloth. There's a letter that was drafted and written in coalition with 100 pastors, bishops, and men and women of the cloth throughout the state of Georgia, which is currently online at rollingout.com. An open letter, united in faith, for Reverend Raphael Warnock. In closing, before you close out, if you can just give all your social media handles and how people can reach out to you. And after that, if you can close us in a short prayer and for our benediction.
Yes. So please follow me on all social media platforms, Jamal H. Bryant. It has a blue check. If it doesn't have a blue check, it's not me. Follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook. My mother taught me a prayer before I left for Morehouse College, and I've been praying it from that day to this. I want to give it to all of you. It's very easy. It doesn't matter what your denomination or affiliation is. I want to teach it to you very quickly. Lord, your will, nothing more, nothing less, and nothing else. That's it. Lord, your will, nothing more, nothing less, nothing else.
Amen.
Everybody, I want you to type that on your screen. Lord, your will, nothing more, nothing less, and nothing else. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Tim.
All right, you make it a great evening.
You too. Thank you, gentlemen. Stay safe.
Yes, sir. Kevin?
Man, I'm gonna have to go and partner with that brother, man.
Yes.
We're going after 8,000 people feeding them. Dude,
Yes, he did a phenomenal job, man. He did a phenomenal job, and it was very well orchestrated. And it was no kibbles and bits either, and they were giving away nice product. One thing I can say in Georgia, a lot of churches have stepped up to the plate. They have done all the community engagement. My church, Antioch AME, they also do the same thing at least 3 times a week, and they've been averaging about small church, but they average about 300 to 400 boxes a week, just giving it to families. You know,
2/3 of Black children go to bed hungry every night.
Exactly.
2 out of 3. That is unacceptable in the world's richest nation.
Exactly. So you figure most of these children, because of COVID, they're eating nothing.
Right.
School was their meal.
Unbelievable. Unacceptable. Unbelievable. But I can tell you, when I watched that brother come up, man, I mean,
yes, he has.
25 years ago, when I was at State Farm, watching him start his church, work at churches, me and him, watching each other come up, like, I'm very proud of the work that he's doing.
All right.
We all face challenges. We all